everybody, JC here from Toy News International, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new DC Comics Batman the Animated Series 6-inch scale Batwing from DC Collectibles. Now this thing comes in a huge box. It's even bigger than last year's Batman the Animated Series Batmobile, and on the front of the box you just have an image of the toy, and in the background we've got artwork showing off various Gotham City buildings, and they're colored to be in just black and red highlights basically. And then down here in the corner you've got the Batman the Animated Series logo. So like I said, this is a huge box. It measures about over 3 feet in width, and then the height of it is a little bit over 16 inches. So this thing's definitely going to take up some shelf space in the packaging. Now on the top of the box we don't have much, just the Batman the Animated Series logo. On the side, image of Batman, and then on the back another image of the Batwing. And then on the other side we have images showing the toy and the various features that it has. And then down below it tells us that the Batwing was sculpted by Kushwara Studios. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Alright, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the Batwing out of the packaging. Now you can see there will be some assembly required, and they do package it well with a lot of plastic coverings and everything to protect it inside the packaging. Okay, so here's a look at the Batwing with all the plastic coverings and everything removed, and you basically end up with 3 different pieces. You get the main piece, the middle piece, and then you get the 2 wings. And so there is some minor assembly here required, but nothing too major. And they have included a little instruction sheet, one that shows you how to attach the wings and put in the batteries, and then one that shows you how to work the features on it. And then you get this little catalog scan like we always see with these Batman the Animated Series figures that show you upcoming figures that are going to be released. So to put this thing together, all you do is you take the wing pieces, and you want to make sure you have the right side on the right and the left side on the left. And then you just want to slide, there are these little holes here on the main piece, and then you just want to slide these in there, and they should snap right in. And so you just do that on one side. And then the other, and that's basically it. Now the only other thing that is required is you've got to put in batteries. So the batteries are not included. It requires 3 AA batteries, which I happen to have right here in my pocket. And what you want to do is on the bottom here, there is the battery cover, and so you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, which I have right here. And then you just unscrew the cover, remove the cover, and then you put in the 3 batteries. And they just should snap right in. And then we'll put the battery cover back on. Make sure you get the batteries down there good. And tighten our screw back. And then there's an on-off switch here next to the battery cover, and you just turn it on to the on position. So this thing has a light up in the back, has the jet engine that lights up, and then you have lights in the canopy, which look really cool on this, even cooler than what we saw with the Batwing, and I'll give you a close-up look of that in just a moment. Now real quick, just one other thing I want to note. Once you snap the wings in, they've actually got these little lock mechanisms on the front and the back of the wings on each side. So you want to make sure that you those are in the locked position, which basically you just want to push them this one forward and this one backwards, and then the same down here on the bottom wing, and that locks them into place. That didn't seem like they were very loose even when they're not unlocked, but if you want to make sure those wings are extra secure, you want to make sure to lock those. Okay, so this thing measures in length once it's fully assembled and everything. It's about from the back, the tip of the back to the front of the wings is about 38 inches, and then the width of this thing from wing to wing at its widest point is a little bit under 26 inches. Okay, so while it's kind of hard to fit both of these on the table, here's a comparison with DC Collectibles 6-inch scale Batmobile, and you can see that the Batwing is definitely longer, and really wider. You can see that the Batwing is actually a little bit wider than the actual length of the Batmobile itself. So just to give you an idea how big this thing is. So the sculpting detail on this is pretty nice. You've got some line work, some grooves sculpted in the wings, and then you've got the pretty sharp tips on the wings. I mean, they're not going to cut you or anything, but you could definitely poke somebody's eye out with these things if you're not careful. So especially this back point here is very, very pointy. But that's how it's supposed to look. So definitely loving the detail with that. And then you've got like engine sculpted, and you've got the canopy which just slides open. And I'll show you that in more detail in a minute. But before I get to that, I also just want to show you the other features that this thing has, which basically are on the bottom of this. So you have working landing gear on this. So for the front, what you want to do is there's a little panel, and you just push in on it and it'll slide open, and then you can just pull out the landing gear. And it's done, the wheel is a hard plastic. Actually, it's a rubbery type hard rubber, but it rolls pretty good. And then you get these two back landing gears as well. So with these, what you want to do is, with these, you just open this little, there's a little groove here, and you just open these up on each side. And then you pull out the landing gear, and these just kind of pull outwards and snap into place. And again, the wheels roll really good. So flip this back over, and then you can see it rolls nice with the landing gear. Now, one other feature that this has is here in the front, there's a little flap on the bottom that you can pry open with your fingernails, and then there's this little clamp thing, and it just kind of, it's a gray piece of plastic, and it just kind of pulls out loosely in there. I haven't been able to get it to like snap into place or anything, so it would have been nice maybe if they'd made it so it snapped, but it does have an actual working clamp. So this, to me, I think he used this in the cartoon, I'm pretty sure he did, but this to me is more reminiscent of the original Michael Keaton Batman movie, where the clamp comes out and captures all the Joker's hot air balloons. So it's not really, the clamp's not really big enough to hold a figure. I guess you could get a figure in there if you wanted to. You know, just use my Batman figure just to test it out. So you could kind of get a figure in there. It's not really going to clamp on it very well. Well, yeah, it's not going to hold it very well. But again, to me, I don't have any hot air balloons to capture at the moment, but that's kind of what this reminds me of. And again, I think he used this little clamp in the cartoon as well, but I don't remember it as clearly as I do from the movie. And this arm, you can turn it and you can push it back and forth and everything. So, you know, it's kind of a cool little extra feature that they included. Okay, so here's a look inside the cockpit, and you can see there's some nice detailing. You've got the seat, and then you've got the controls, and these light up, which I'll again show you in just a moment, give you a good close-up of it lit up. But just to give you a detail of the controls, and you've got this little joystick here, and this is done with just a rubber type material, so it's got some flexibility to it. And then you've got the little controls on the side and everything. So I definitely like that. Now, this, you can have it hold one figure, and then they've given you this cover here on the back. And basically what this is there's actually, you can have it hold two figures if you want. So you can remove this, so it's up to you whether you want it to be a two-seater or a one-seater. So I definitely think that's kind of a cool feature that they allowed you to hold one or two figures. I think in the cartoon and definitely in the movie, I think this was more of a one-seater, but I like the fact that they've given you the extra seat so that you can put two figures in here. And while the back seat isn't quite as detailed as the front seat, they have given you this little control panel on the back of Batman's seat. So, you know, basically a view screen for the person sitting in the back seat, and a couple controls on that. So again, some nice kind of cool detailing with that. Now you can see I've got both Batman and Robin sitting in there. Now this is the Batman the Animated Series Batman figure with the soft goods cape. Now that's the one that's going to work the best for you if you have that figure, if you picked it up with the second Batmobile or with the Bat Signal. That's going to fit the best in here. And then I have my Tim Drake Robin sitting in the back seat, and he fits nice as well. Now if you have just the regular Batman with the more rubber cape, you can still get it in there, but again, the one with the soft goods cape is going to fit the best. And then you can get the canopy. It just slides closed and attaches with no problem. Now any 6-inch scale figure like a Mattel DC Multiverse figure or DC Collectibles Icons figure should fit in this cockpit with no problem. However, I'm sure some of you are probably wondering if maybe that NECA 7-inch Michael Keaton Batman figure will fit in here, being that this some of you might want to use this for your Batman movie Batwing. And unfortunately you can get him to sit in there, so as long as you don't want to close the canopy, you know, you can get him to sit in there, and frankly you can't really see the figure when the canopy's closed anyway, so I don't know why that's too big of a deal. But if you just wanted to fit the figure in there, you can. It's just when you go to close the canopy, those ears kind of stick up enough that they're going to rub against the top of the canopy, and you might damage your figure. So if you're going to want to put your Michael Keaton 7-inch NECA Batman figure in there, I would recommend not closing the canopy if you do. And just to plastic, you've got the translucent darkened in plastic for the canopy, but there's no actual paint applications on this on either side. It's all done with just black, a black type plastic. Okay, so I've turned off some of the lights to give you a close-up look of the canopy with the lights on. So I really like this detailing with the controls and everything. You've got this little, it looks like a little radar screen that's done with green. It's got green translucent plastic, and then you've got a red screen down here, and you've got some colored controls. And then you have some lights on the sides of the seats as well. And then back here in the back seat, you also, the screen lights up with the little buttons, and you've got some buttons on the sides of this seat as well. So I really like the lighting detail on this inside the canopy. I think that really comes off looking really cool. And then again on the back, you've just got the engine that lights up. And even with the canopy closed, you can still see the lights through the translucent plastic, which is cool. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I think DC Collectibles has done a fantastic job with this toy. I think it looks just like it did in the cartoon as well as in the original Michael Keaton Batman movie. The features are really nice. I like how you can have it as a 1-seater or a 2-seater. I think the lights in the canopy look really cool and detailed, and just the overall look of it is really nice. The only real drawback is that it's so big, I'm not sure where you're going to display it. Originally they were talking about including a wall mount with this thing, but they were afraid that that would throw the price up too high. As it is, it's going to cost you about $175, so definitely it's a little bit on the pricey side. But you're getting a very cool toy with this, and I think it's something that you might want to make sure that you include on your Christmas list this year. So it is hitting comic and specialty shops now. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.